Welcome pool lovers from around the world to the 23rd Annual Derby City Classic. For years, players and fans have come right here just outside of Louisville to compete in things like bank, straight pool, 9-ball, and this special event is the Diamond Bigfoot 10-ball challenge played on this 5 by 10-foot diamond table. 16 of the greatest players on the planet, single elimination action, and it's a race to 11. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to see some high-powered pool? They're ready, and I hope you are as well. So let's get to it and introduce the players. First up, he's 3-time European champion, 2019 World 9-Ball champion, 2020 Mosconi Cup champion. He's sponsored by Q-Tech, Diamond, and Talm from Moscow, Russia. Make some noise for Fedor Gorst. And his opponent is a World Juniors champion, European 9-Ball champion, 2-time European Tour champion. He's sponsored by Predator, Acosta, and DS Billiards. From Salamanca, Spain, the Ferrari, Francisco Sanchez-RUIZ. Our referee is Mr. Dwayne Payne. We're lagging for the break, and right now going to send it up to the guys in the Accu-Stats booth.
Hello and welcome everybody to the 23rd Annual Derby City Classic and the 9th Bigfoot 10-Ball Challenge. And while this event does not contribute to the all-around title, it is regarded as the most prestigious individual event here by the players. The most prestigious event of the Derby requires the best analyst in the commentary booth today, Jeremy Jones. Jeremy, welcome on board. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and give us any thoughts you have for this matchup.
Well, thanks, Mark. And you and I were talking about I don't think we really pinpointed the year that Fedor kind of hit the scene in America at a very young age and finished second in this event. I think it was to Roberto Gomez. Maybe he lost in 2017, maybe 18, something like that. But should start us off with a great match. These two have definitely played each other before, always competing for those points on the European side of things. So nothing new. Maybe a first time for these two on a 10-footer against each other, though, Mark.
I suspect so, because 10-foot's rarely used these days. Although in Moscow, Fedor has a 10-foot table, diamond table, that he trains on a regular basis, so he's quite familiar with this. I was just talking to him right before the match here as he's set to win the leg and break, and he said that this is the first time he's ever come to the Derby where he's of legal age to actually be here. He's still 21 years old, but a veteran.
Yeah, and I played on that 10-foot you're talking about right there at the Baza in Moscow. What a beautiful pool room, and what a great start here in game number one with a successful break, making the 3-ball. Pretty routine shot on the 1. He's got to make a little decision where he wants to go for the 2. Probably gets a little thin on the 2 and moves the cue ball. That's the safe route. So maybe the cue ball between the 8 and 9, something like that. You may go between the 4-9. That's a little more dangerous.
If you do, I think you want to kind of try to play to for sure get
past
into the 4. Yeah.
Yeah, this looks pretty natural with the opening table pretty open coming across the spot with the cue ball. That looks about. He may hold it up here, Mark. Fedor can fool you with what he can do holding the ball from some angles sometimes. This one here, though, doesn't look totally natural to move with a high ball, so maybe he's got to look a little more towards, like he's going towards the 5 a little. Oh, no, he did nice. Now long and straightish, though.
He was down here 2 hours ago, maybe a little bit more than that, hitting balls, and I was watching how clean he's hitting the pocket with high velocity and a lot of spin, inside spin, just to see how the table responds. And he was having pocketing balls freely. He was having no trouble whatsoever. So I think that really portends to we're going to see a great Gorst result here.
Okay, going with a high ball, 2 rails towards the 7. And that's something I remember from a few years ago when he played in this final. So he really didn't mind sacrificing distance on this table. Which the conditions are prime, the felt's new, so you'll see a little forgiveness on the pocket.
Love the way he sets up to every shot. It's so careful and crafted and consistent.
Yeah, it's easy with the reps he puts in. It makes, you know, where you really don't have to think about your routine so much, even though it's so solid. Your thought process is so, again, you know, in the right pattern because of so many reps he puts in on the practice table. So bring his name up probably more than anybody when it comes to that. How he really relies on his practice, you know, what he's done in practice. Comes across a tough shot, he just, you know, recognizes it's a tough shot, Mark, but still just goes through his process and trust those reps are going to show up.
He's so smooth on his cueing action from backswing to foreswing. He's like textbook copy of what a fluid transition should look like, which greatly aids to his ball speed because now he's hitting the pocket pure, and so the cue ball doesn't get away from him. He can stay on angle, and then also it contributes to accuracy. So he's willing to sacrifice being close to the object ball just to get on angle so he doesn't have to fight it with a high power, high velocity shot.
Yeah, when you're getting the most out of your swing, it makes things easy or easier. And the margin for error you create, not only do you create so much more accuracy that way, but when you are off a little bit striking the cue ball, when your timing's off just a little bit, it's never that bad. So your margin for error in our game, which is such a huge part of it, really becomes pretty great. And now opening just like he wanted.
Well, I don't think anything has rubbed the rail on the way into the pocket here. It's been a very clean opening, break and run out from winning the lag, and that sets quite a tone.
Well, very clean and great opening to 2022 for FEDOR GORST, finishing runner-up at Turning Stone. That snapped off the Arizona event again, 2 years in a row. So looking to come here always with high hopes. And Fedor's the type that I've seen him struggle. I've been into a few tournaments in a row where you're wondering, you know, where'd this come from, but it doesn't last very long with him. It's just not gonna ever last very long with him. Fundamentals are too solid. His mindset's too good.
When the first year he played in the Bigfoot, he was, I guess, 17 at the oldest.
Yeah.
And Maxime Dudinets from Moscow was here with him as well. And I watched him play out here, and it was amazing. He won his match, and then he was sitting in the stands on his phone watching another pool match while watching the subsequent match on this table. And I thought, I wonder if this kid could be my illegitimate son here. I mean, it's possible. He's really serious about pool, and I love his attitude, his work ethic and discipline, unmatched.
Well, here we're going to get our first look at Ruiz, and a player very similar, in my opinion, to his partner in crime, David Alcady. Hard worker. You know, I'll be honest. I never thought either one of these two would get to the status that they're at today. When I first saw them, 20 years ago, maybe in Vegas for some league pool. Certainly could tell they were going to be really, really good players, but to keep in the top 20 in the world now for probably the last 5 years, maybe these two, pretty impressive. 210 he was sizing up here, Mark, and looks to me he can go past the 2 to get on the 2 on the side. And the one thing about the 10-footer, if you're pocketing the ball well, there's always room usually to gain some position, some pretty smart position of some sort.
The one thing that I can tell you is if you do not get perfect on the 210 angle to make the combination, it's suicide on this table. There's just no forgiveness.
Now, there are two-way shots, though, believe, right?
Right.
So he can go past the 2, maybe get it in the side, maybe end up with a 10-ball, moving the 10 on that kind of shot. But it looks like to me what he's worried about is when he shoots the 1, if he goes past the 2, he's falling near the rail with the cue ball. Could be hard to get on the 3, so.
Well, he's playing for the combination.
Well, I think he hit it just about as perfect as you could with the speed, not only with the line of the cue ball, but getting the cue ball off the rail a little bit.
No doubt he'll still try to protect the cue ball. This will not be just a naked, wide-open combo.
It looks like the type of shot you want to elevate a hair in like a light stun. It doesn't look like the type of shot I like rolling as far as a combo. Oh, no, he's rolling it. So he's going downward with the cue ball. That's why.
The 3, yeah. And he really didn't even threaten the combo. That's really, boy, that's a tough shot from there.
Yeah, and I just, when I talk about, you know, you're trying to win the game there, and a lot of times, unless the safety is like really, really secure, when you miss, you don't get exactly what you wanted. So you're giving up a shot a lot. I felt like pocketing that combo for me. I kind of like elevating it a little bit and kind of stunning that combo in a little.
I think you're right. I think it plays better, and you probably should have not did what I suggested about
the safety side.
Right. No, just go naked.
Yeah.
And just go either play it or don't play it. Now this is the winning ball of this rack. Fedor feels like if he can get this down, now that everything else lays wide open, and he's got some serious momentum going here. Fell just a little flat, but very smooth action on the cue.
Yeah, with the 5 that goes in the side, he can handle a little thin on the 4, so should be okay. And I think he could probably get the cue ball up a little bit if he wanted to on the 4. Maybe he gets a little close to it, but he can still get, yeah, nice shot.
And day 1, table's just gliding along very smooth, cloth is slick.
But you'll notice how he kept it pretty light, and, you know, on the slick table, that's how you're going to make the cue ball check a little bit. If you get a little speedy with it, the ball tends to arc a little bit and you lose a lot of control. Well, he's got the cue ball on a string so far. We'll have 4 matches today to open round 1 and 4 more matches tomorrow to conclude round 1 in this single elimination. The Banks event, which that's their favorite here at the Derby. It usually gets the most players. It's kicking off here momentarily.
Right here, he's got just a hint of an angle, not a lot, so looks like he'll just draw back down. I don't think he'll power up. Just draw back down to play the 7 past the 10.
Yeah, this is where you take advantage of that perfect condition and a new felt. You can move the ball pretty easy.
Great job there. Nice conservative approach. Picked up what's considered to be proper position as opposed to perfect position. Perfect position you'd think would be straight in, but these guys want to give themselves some margin of error, so they come in a little short, leave themselves an angle. Now the angular and lanky Gorst can reach out here.
He's got a choice. He can come 2 or 1. Kind of up to him. But notice how he's always coasting into position to really, emphasize that to people if you want to help your pool game, and it actually really keeps the tempo of the stroke nice when you imagine the cue ball just kind of coasting into position a lot, never getting in a hurry with it. And now for a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, really, the combination that's really gonna leave a imprint here, because now Gorst has tons of momentum. Break and run out, now a real nice clean run out. Nothing scuffed the rail on the way in. And he's full steam ahead here for Gorst.
Well, this is the highest level in the game. But the 10-foot is one of those tables you could be, again, thinking you can see David Al-Kaidi just to the left. The 10-foot's one of those tables you can kind of put that old cliche, the first one and the last one are the hardest to get. It's the type of table you want to get that first game as early as you can.
Right.
Because rolls can elude you a little bit. Of course, Fedor's going to keep the heat on and make it tough for Ruiz. But both guys have racked the 2-3 on the corners the last 2 games. It's just what they're used to a little bit, so they may have to remind themselves of that random rack.
Well, unless they read the rules, they were definitely not present for the player meeting because I was. And I know both of those were derelict on that. And so they probably are assuming, as usual, 2 and 3 on the corners, which is no longer the way it's supposed to be.
Well, I like that. I always felt like if you rack the balls in a certain place, the guys are going to figure out a way to take advantage of that if they're consistently racked in a certain place. And so I like the random rack, that's for sure.
And particularly with the template, it makes it easier.
Oh, yeah, you can predict speeds. You can do a lot of things with it. But it seems to me that in 10-ball, the corners would be like one of the premium places to rack the 2 and 3 if you want to be successful running some balls. Now, Fedor's got a variety of 10-ball breaks as far as the speeds he'll change. One of the best in the business now.
A lot of times that ball right behind the 1, the 6 and the 8 is what they try to score. His cue ball got away from him a little bit. Looks like it's going to be a dry break.
Yeah, and it looked like to me his timing was off a little bit there, Mark.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe the body moved a little early. You know, a lot of times on that break, you want to get everything back together on the backswing, and then the body goes a little early. The cue follows. Oh, he's got to cut at this. I'm kind of sitting on the line, and it does go in, obviously in the corner, but I think it goes in the side as well.
Well, you make a great point on that timing thing, and you really have to play a lot of pool to be able to feel those little subtleties that you're describing. But it makes so much difference in how pure you impact that head ball. It goes to maybe a slightly off-center hit like that last one was from the square one that he hit in the opening rack.
Yeah, and even when you catch it square, which he wasn't way off there, you just don't seem to get the explosion of the rack or the movement towards the pocket like you normally would. It's almost just something impossible to explain. The physics behind it is way beyond me, but seems to me, and it doesn't take much when the body takes off a little early, like before you get the backswing all the way back, it takes off a little early. Just everything seems to fall apart a little bit as far as making balls.
I know people listening in would think that we're being overly emphatic, but really it's to educate people that aren't as skilled that understand that a fragment of a millimeter mishit with the tip translates into a whole heck of a lot once it gets down there on the table, and particularly the 5x10.
Yeah, Ruiz a little straight here, so he's going to have to stun just a little bit. One of his better shots, the stun. Is he looking to play draw this back?
It looks like he is. I think he's drawn back to play the 4
Well,
past the
speed
5.
better be good. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's a funny little shot.
His head lifted just a little bit as he impacted the ball, and it seemed to take some of the pace out, like he was trying to protect it from going too far.
Yeah, just guiding the speed a little bit. And now a good thing for him, most likely, is the 8's here to slow the cue ball down. So,
boy, this is not an easy shot because you really got to reach out there. He's got a big extension on his cue. And
I really don't think he has a full pocket here, Mark.
No, this is eminently missable.
Yeah.
Look at the length of the bridge.
Yeah, and a great camera there on the pocket.
Oh, what a shot.
Yeah, he's going to need it
Great
again
shot.
as far as the extension. But this is the thing about the 10-foot. We talk about it all the time on the 9-foot. You can just, make it a little exponential here. You start to get a little out of line. Things start to get really hairy for the next few balls.
Got his elbow out to the side. Pretty nice action. Was able to rub that in, but.
Yeah, but this is what we're talking about here.
Whew,
Come on with it.
Gang up on you. Yeah.
These are the shots we want to see, though, right, Mark? I mean, from these guys,
yeah.
We want to see him bury these big shots. Now, he may elect to play safe. We'll see, but.
Psychologically, this shot plays so much better if your opponent leaves it for you as opposed to if you leave it for yourself because you know you should have been a little closer or you wanted to be a little closer. Nevertheless, you have to pocket these balls if you're going to win, and if you're here dreading this shot, you shouldn't be on the 10-foot table tournament to begin with. Oh, he's going with elevation, too. That adds another 10% of difficulty here.
I was going to say, he wasn't even really digging on the cue ball much, Mark, and it didn't look like there was a ton of angle. So I thought that was maybe an in-between kind of stroke to try and attempt. Normally you would level out go ahead and take the shot, maybe run the ball thin, get a little thin on the 7, or elevate a little more and dig on the cue ball. That was kind of like an in-between kind of stroke.
He didn't even use his final pause there, which suggests that he was ambiguous about even playing it. He wasn't even committed to the shot.
Yeah, I might have crossed that over maybe, huh?
That would be okay, but if you're going to pocket it, I think you got to go all out to pocket it. You can't be cute with it, you know. And here he missed it by a good bit. So
I agree with you there. And looks like the cue ball passed fine. He may get into the 9. I think he's disregarding the cue ball a little bit, really putting his emphasis on making the 6.
Nice pause, nice delivery.
Yeah, he caught it a little thick.
And you can't fault him. It wasn't a poor quality stroke. It was just that difficult of a shot. That's all. And the 10-footer really brings it about. You know, a hair off. That wouldn't have looked nearly as wild of a miss on a 9-foot table, but it's just that hard.
All right, this type of shot, a little funny bridge, got to pay attention. The slick felt easy to hit a little thick. Oh, he hit it nice.
And Ruiz is really known more as a shot maker as opposed to a tactician, you know. So he's subject to have supreme firepower and make some tremendously good runouts, and then he's also liable to get out of line along the way on a more routine runout. 30 years old, comes from Spain. Super pleasant guy to talk to. He has a nice tempo to his game, though. I will say that. He doesn't dawdle over the shots. There's a 40-second shot clock, but that's never going to be an issue for Ruiz.
Yeah, looking to get that first game on the board, and he'll be breaking in game number 4, so got a chance to tie our match.
All right, 2-1 now. Good win there. Gorst is disappointed, but he has nothing to be upset about. He made the best pass that he could have and a tough shot. Didn't connect.
And of course, Diamond.
Yeah, and I don't think he was putting a ton of spin on that shot. Maybe a hair of right English, but that's something with the new felt and the, you know, we're playing with the, I believe I heard the diamond cue ball. So, you know, from what I saw at the International, seemed like a pretty good cue ball. But the guys still have to get used to it. So.
And the shot's tough enough. He probably shouldn't be introducing side spin on that, to tell you the truth, because I think what you said, he should just go after it and let the cue ball go.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to ration out the speed. You don't want to add difficulty to an already tough shot. These are races to 11. There's no need to call a shot. We play just with regular 9-ball type rules. So 2-way shots are in effect.
Ruiz, for a while, he sometimes would overhit the break on the 10 ball, just not get the movement on the rack like you would expect. Sometimes they overhit it. There's been a few Euros through the years that I don't know why it took him a little longer to figure out that timing on that 10-ball break. Like Albin used to overhit him a little bit. Niels used to overhit him a little bit. And with the template especially, it's really just not anything about 80 or 90%. It's about 70, 75% good pop, follow through.
Yeah, Ruiz got quite a bit of top spin on there where the cue ball went way forward, and pro players are usually disappointed if the cue ball ever passes in front of where the 1 ball was racked. If it drifts back to the back rail, they're okay with that, but they hate to see the cue ball ever go forward.
Okay, he's going to cheat the pocket a little bit here, take a little distance on the 2. No reason to get too tighty, too close. Looks like he's gotten perfect to move the cue ball between the 5-10. Maybe draws it if he's a little heavy, you know, not much angle at all. Maybe draws it between the 9-5. I don't think so, but could even go forward maybe, Mark, between the 4-10, huh? It's close.
Yeah, it's. I think he's going to end up going between the 5 and 10. But
now Federer is a little more of the old school technique when it comes to the draw. Most of us that I've been around the last 30 years, a lot of the top players aim very low on the ball and then come up a hair with the tip, where he's opposite. He'll be more around the middle of the cue ball and then drop the tip on the last stroke for the draw. I saw that, with the older players more. Mark, I don't know if that was a more common thing. You could tell me maybe, but I would see some of the older players a lot, more like I said, in the middle of the cue ball, and then on the last stroke drop the tip a little bit for draw English.
Yeah, I think you're right. It seems like it was that way. So,
but like Efren, he maybe he got it more started where guys aim much lower on the tip for a draw and come up just a smudge.
Yeah.
I've always done that, and I've always kind of thought it was more because of me sighting where I want to be able to hit. But got a little angle he can hold for the 5 in the side with the 6 hanging.
I love the way he went over and took a look at it, so it's not a surprise when you get there, because he knows the 6 is just partially blocking the side pocket. It's not a problem, but to take the time before he struck the 4 to go over and take a look, so he knows what he's going to get. Then there's not a surprise, and then you can play it easier psychologically.
Yeah, and that's just what he's used to doing when he practices. That's there's no reason to leave some type of guess in there. So
I imagine he won the world championship at 20 years of age, but he wasn't old enough to come the next month and play in the Derby City Classic. He didn't get to play that year.
Yeah, they changed the rule that year here in Indiana. Okay, a little chip shot here. He should check the cue ball. No reason to go around the 7 here. I don't think anyways. I would check it with a little left spin. Yeah. Nice shot. And just simply, no reason to go past position, right? Buddy Hall, that's kind of what he always said. No reason to go past the position point to get another position point usually. Federer, who I think is like probably the kind of typical build, I think, for what you would think a top player. Not super tall but long, which I think is a huge advantage. Very, very athletic player.
Mm-hmm. A real worker too. He's really willing to put the time into the sport. He was just in St. Louis this week, spent 3 or 4 days training there. Came from Arizona, where he won the Predator stop out there for the 2nd consecutive time.
Got to kind of smooth this just to make sure he doesn't flirt with that corner. Got through the cue ball. And it's not, Federer doesn't play perfect every time, but he's a guy that it's just not going to give you much. He's going to be there for the match. He's going to show up. He's going to get out when he's supposed to, at a high rate. So you got to play a pretty darn good match to beat this guy.
Yeah, I'd say. He has 1 dry break, and he had 1 missed tough long shot. Other than that, everything's hit the heart of the pocket. His form has not faltered 1 time, and for sure, Ruiz knows he's in for a serious match here.
Well, he's kind of the epitome of what I try to preach to people. Stay away from the extremes, don't play too slow, don't play too fast. His tempo's great. Bridge length. Not too short, not too long. I tell tip position, not too much out there, not always dead in the center. He's just like the epitome of just that perfect flow around the table, and really his shot selection is kind of the same. It doesn't get too crazy with it. Stays in, doesn't fish too far from the shore, getting crazy with the shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, neither player is aware that the 2 and the 3 no longer is on. We can definitely see that at this early stage.
Well, it's just, he can come with a great shot, but his cue ball's so good. Just never seems like he's that far out of line. He just really does a lot of things just pretty much how you would teach him.
Last time the 6 and 7 ball did not come near the side pocket. Let's see what those balls right behind the 1 do. Nope.
Well, I've seen him change the speeds already 3 times in this match in what would be a short period of time breaking the balls. So, man, nice layout here. From the 4 to the 5 is going to be a little tricky just because the 2, he's got to get nicely on that. And I think the 1 does go, so he can come 2 rails between the 7-5.
Seemed like he had just a little better timing on that stroke.
Yeah, a little more like he didn't let up on the way down. A little more constant acceleration through the ball. So normally, like with the top players, when they're following the ball, like Ruiz did, that means they let up on the way down a little bit and the tip raised. Like we talked about, like maybe they what you do is you take off a little early from the top. And then your body tries to get a hold of it and tries to slow it down, and you end up decelling through the rack a little bit. But, ooh. Well, that didn't catch the 6, it didn't look like to me. It looked like it was just kind of like maybe not too good of a hit there on the 1.
Looks like he moved his body a little bit delivering that.
Was he worried about maybe fouling the ball there, Mark, being close with the cue ball?
That was the first time that his delivery looked a little peculiar.
Now he's a little close to the 6. He knows he's going to rub the 6. He doesn't want to like go crazy drawing off the 6. The cue ball could easily get away from him, maybe behind the 7. But he can't handle straight on the 2 either.
That's the biggest dilemma here, is that he knows when he rubs the 6 and wants to flatten that cue ball out.
Yeah, see, he knows this is not exactly what you wanted. He cannot go past the 10, I don't think, to get position on the 4, which is what would be ideal from here.
Boy, take a monster shot because you got the slippery cloth. It would be hard to get to the other side of the 10.
Yeah.
You'd have to really
like a Bustamante stroke from 1994 or something, 93. Yeah.
With inside spin.
That power he could supply, And this is what he's got to look at. He's still got to make 2 great shots here, not only on the 2. I know this is the best in the world, but you got to pay attention here on the 10-footer. But he's going to have to move the ball 3 rails off the 4. Ooh, and now he's kind of in dead man, like he can't get there.
In the previous shot, I think he should have been thinking about playing a safe on that pass ball or this ball.
You're talking about the 1?
Yep.
Playing the safe on the 1?
Yeah, that would have been better too. But just because of this dilemma, but you don't know from the 1. He thought he might get an angle.
Yeah, he
but
thought.
on this 2 ball.
Yeah.
Because now it's going to be, if he tries to, it's going to be a bear of a shot. This will be the shot of the match so far if he gets around on the 5. Because you're going to really have to power out.
Okay, he decided to play the safety here. Pretty smart shot. We'll see Federer with the jump. Oh, no jump cues here at the Derby. Right. Excuse me. So that takes away probably, a huge weapon for a lot of these guys, but especially for this guy at the table. Man, he's probably the best in the world jumping the ball under pressure. There's some guys that are out there that are incredible at it, but it seems like when it comes to match play, he buries them.
I really want to add, too, that Jeremy meant no jump cue allowed in the 10-ball tournament.
Right.
I think the 9-ball, they do allow it. So.
Oh, yeah? They changed that then. It used to not be that, but yeah.
I might be wrong, but I know there's no jump cue in the 10-ball.
In the 10.
No jump cues allowed.
Yeah. In any event at the Derby. This is funny. The 10's right in the way of the real, comfortable path. Not saying the hit's hard, but to get some results, like he wants to hit the top side of this 4. He wants to hit to more towards where on the middle side. The middle of the table side on the 4.
Modest pace, too, to try to get
like
some
that
separation.
Side, yeah, that's the side he wanted to hit. And not only that, you may fluke it in the side pocket that way. Boy, he left no cupcake here, Mark.
No, this actually is a training shot that we use during my instructional classes, is this very thing when the cue ball's pinned to the cushion. You got that hint of a back cut into the side, and it's a shot you really need to get down, but it's missable.
I don't know if he can get at the makeable side of this 4. It's close with the 7 being there.
Yeah, he's not sure either because he doesn't dawdle over shots. So,
2 rails going towards the 10 with the cue ball too. That's the other dilemma on the shot if he can make it.
This tip's pretty far from the cue ball. That's not great for timing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he could make that, to be honest with you. I think with the speed he played, he was definitely playing a safety. No position on the 5 at that speed, Mark.
No. Boy, this will be a monster of a shot here. It will be pretty if he connects.
Now, he should dig on the cue ball here because you have a good chance of getting safe if you dig on the cue ball. If you're hitting a high ball now, you're really relying on the make, I think, a little more. Now, you probably make it a little more with the level cue.
Gorgeous shot. What a shot.
Sweet.
Look at the audience. They recognize it. Huge shot. Very smoothly struck as well.
Okay, it looks like just a straight high ball here. Keeps you plenty away from the 7.
Pure as could be. And that shot plays a little tougher at that soft speed. It's like you have to cut it just a hair thinner, and it seems like it clings to the cue ball just a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I've watched Federer play a lot, and of course he's great at the soft speed, but he, like most of the players, they stay away from that when they can. It's not as comfortable a way to shoot the ball, like Mark was saying. So they want to feel that attacking stroke. All right, got a little bit past here, so he's got to pay attention. He could pinch this a little bit. He's got a great draw stroke, so drawing off the 8 to the 9, not too big of a deal. Just doesn't want to get that funny angle. Looks like he's going to move the ball here.
2 cushions back towards the center of the table.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks perfect. Speed looks pretty perfect there. Love to get where he's at now. Talk about it all the time. What a great drill. I love using that drill. Just shoot a shot, come back to where I'm at, come back to where I'm at. Comes up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
See how he's cueing a little higher, and then he'll drop the tip.
That was a nice clean strike there. Awkward bridge. He had the bridge over the 9.
And Federer applying a lot of heat here early. Looks to me he comes down on the side he's standing, maybe, with a hair of left English, maybe. No reason to force it with inside here. Yeah, I like that. Both players are playing at a great pace.
Well, tremendous run out there here in rack number 5. As Gorst expands his lead to 3 games, now leading 4-1. And, the part that really hurts Ruiz is just if you were to just add up all the balls that have been pocketed so far, it has to be about 90% Gorst, and he's really getting the feel of the table. He's made some good shots, good strokes, tough shots, missed a tough ball, broke dry, but that's the extent of his errors. Yep. Both players, 2 and the 3 are on the corners every time, so they clearly do not have any idea about that. And this is right at that juncture of the match. Rui, he's kind of in that must-win situation or face really getting buried behind, and then it's tough to come back on a guy that's playing well.
Yeah, and, Ruiz would tell us probably or know better than we do that, like all the greats, Federer's going to get stronger even as the match goes usually. That's how that works out. So when he starts out really solid, it's not going to let up.
Yeah. This morning when Federer came down, I was talking to one of his supporters, and he was saying how Federer was telling him that he's feeling just great today. And he says Federer never says that. He always says he's feeling a little iffy or something. He said he just felt so And then when he hit balls practicing, it also suggested he was feeling great. He's declaring a push out, it looks like. Measuring up.
The 10-foot's going to be a place where you'll see a little more offensive challenges on the push out.
Well, I'm not a fan of this if he's pushing out to a straight in one. That plays right into, yeah. No, he is pushing out though.
Yeah, but, you know, the 7's hanging, so he can't roll out to a 1-7 bank of any sort. Ruiz, you know, another great shot maker. He's going to take on anything tough on the 1.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
you know, he's kind of, you know, maybe he feels something about Ruiz. He sees that maybe he feels like this is best percentage play at the moment. Maybe not normally, you know, or every time he rolls out here against Ruiz, but, you know, he knows it better than we do, right?
Great point. It's not even so much Ruiz, it's that there was nowhere else to roll out.
Well, that too,
you know, it's just the right shot. And Ruiz needs to think about rolling this in and playing the bank on the 2 with a backdoor safety as part of that shot, too.
Yeah, and that's a big pocket on the 1 right now. The new felt, it's playing pretty soft.
Trying to muscle up and get on top of the 2 was going to be really tough all the way, and so he did purposely play that way.
Yeah, and you know, I think Gorst knows there's a lot of heat right there on that shot from Ruiz. The way this match has started, and like I said, maybe he sees something that, you know, maybe Ruiz isn't so comfortable just yet. So, and that nothing easy about that. I liked your play, Mark, the most. Not saying he wasn't trying to do that, but I definitely like trying to ice the 1 ball and then play from the, you know, somewhere on the 2 on the bank.
Just not give up an unforced error where Gorst comes to the table with this type of layout after he's already pocketed 90% of the balls and got the speed down pretty good. Now, getting on the 3 is not that easy either because that 7 partially blocks the pocket.
You can play from underneath pretty easily here, though. What he's worried about is where the 7's going to move if he decides to really move the cue ball. Yeah, I think he was a little worried about that 3 getting moved, to be honest with you.
He was purposely playing the 7. He wanted to get rid of the 7, and then when he caught it just a little bit thinner than he anticipated, that's when it sent the 7 into the 3. Which I always get a kick out of Gorst when something like that happens. You look at him, his eyes will go real wide, like quarters. Like, can you believe that happened to me? You know.
Shane, he may have gotten that from Shane. Shane's his big eyes fall at a little different time. It's normally when he's really getting in stroke and starting to feel it. Shane will kind of take a huge deep breath and the eyes will open quite a bit. Did he give him a little sliver here? This would be huge if he's got a little piece of this 3. Could be a big turning point in this match, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Ruiz seems to think he has it too. Tell by his body language, despite the fact he's triple checked it.
Yeah. I think he's kicking still.
You're right.
He's going to get in the gap, it looks like. Yeah, he's going to give up a long 3 ball. Nothing easy, though. Very difficult to move the cue ball in position for the 4 as well. This is one of them shots that he really excels at that most find as a very difficult and touchy way to shoot the ball, especially with the side pocket. This is center ball stun. Just go right into the rail, just past the side.
Yeah, and on the overhead, you can really see how flat this angle is. It's not much of an angle here. You're going to have to pop that pretty good to get it across.
Well, you just take what it gives you here, Mark. You know what I'm saying? If you get a little thin on the 4, that's fine. Oh, rare miss on a shot like that. Okay, so I do believe it's kind of that point for Ruiz to get something on the board. It's going to go a little heavy, maybe. No, it's good.
Yeah, nice clean run out here would really help.
Okay, no, can go around the 9 if he wants. Doesn't have to. Kind of keep this simple, just kind of pocketing the ball and holding there between the 9-10. He went around the 9, nice shot. And that's the guys seeing the angle at the table. If it's not too thin, they'll go ahead and stay aggressive with the stroke there. Now just super important, stay off the rail with the cue ball on the 7. Really hard to make a big mistake here unless the cue ball falls on the rail.
Play, looks like he got right in between here. He's kind of not really on the draw angle. He's not really as easy on the one rail angle either.
Yeah, I was going to say the 8 goes in the opposite corner over there, though, so.
Looks like that's what he's going to settle for.
Well,
just bring the cue ball up by the side pocket. No, he's
he
going
forced
across.
it. Now, when he forced it, speed's got to be good. Watch out. This is going to linger a little bit. Now, this type of shot for me, Mark, really, as long as I go ahead and go a little further with the cue ball than normal, like don't try to hold so perfect on the 9 here. I think you sacrifice the 8 occasionally doing that. Go ahead and let the cue ball run a little bit. If you take a little more shot on the 9, that's fine.
That's a good hit.
Yeah.
And a much-needed game here as Ruiz wins his second game in the set. Now trails 2-4. I'll tell you, as the match moves forward, the one thing as a coach that I would encourage Ruiz to do would be, as he sets up to the cue ball, get that tip much closer to the cue ball. He's always 1.5 inches away or an inch, and it really distorts your timing. And that's why when you see his speed control is nowhere near as tight as Fedor's, it's hard to manage that from that range. And so now it's a habit that he's created. It would take a monumental effort to improve it, but that would help this kid a lot.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. And the funny thing is you don't see it very often from this level. Bustamani's one that I may bring up that has always kept the tip a little ways away from the cue ball. When he's bridging, it's unbelievable how far away he is from the cue ball, and he still hits it so accurate. But yeah, most of the top players, they get the tip pretty close. They want to make it, similar to the striking point, right? So and that's what Mark's getting at, that you make it as similar to the actual swing, everything's going to be better.
Good square break. I don't know if he's going to succeed with making anything. 5-ball. Okay. Boy, nice open layout, too. Just a hint of an angle here, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's good, and the good thing is when you look ahead, you look at the 3-ball mark being so accessible, right? That makes your decision on the 2 much easier. That's where you want to look and say, of course, you don't want to sacrifice and take 8 feet away on the 2-ball, but you can just stun one rail and just barely creep into that position. You don't have to get super close to it. Federer, with the skills he has, he can keep it pretty simple here on the 1.
It is all ball fouls, too, as he tucks in his shirt a little tighter as he goes over the 2 here with his upper body. No problem. And just what Jeremy's saying, there's no reason to take a chance here. Cinch position.
Yeah.
Great job there.
Yeah, just creep past the 8 a little bit, but not ever getting too close to the 8. Now, he's a little funny as far as he's not going to be able to get great, probably really close to the 4-ball here in a moment after he shoots the 3, but shouldn't be a problem with the 6 over the side pocket. So a little bit of a kill stroke here.
Okay, nice job there.
Yeah, he actually fell into just right, and that's a shot we talk about in the Moscone. You have to have that angle on a ball on the side rail that you can't afford to go to anything but one rail and still be able to back the cue ball up without it getting away from you. It's a touchy shot under pressure. I think the 10-footer actually helps you there. It gives you a little more room with the cue ball. And he got so good on the 3, he could get a little closer to the 4. I don't know. I still may have wanted to carry a little more angle.
He was hoping for a little more angle.
From underneath, right?
Yeah. But now I don't know if he can draw that. If he has to draw it back, the side pocket's in play.
And the snooker's in play, so is it worth it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because the 7's pretty easy. He can get to the side rail to play the 6 in the corner and have a pretty good shot on the 7 like here.
So he manipulated the pocket to create an angle that wasn't maybe as apparent to us where we're sitting. And now he's falling on the inside line here, which is actually, that plays great now. He can just cinch the 6 ball, the cue ball drifts an inch or 2 out, and then he's back in control. Yeah, inside placement there. There you can see how close Gorst gets his tip to the cue ball. Just total control. I love the way he stays down long after the tip has left the cue ball. He's still right in place. Allison Fisher's great at that as well. Little backspin here. Come back.
And I think only our second break and run from Federer, maybe our third. I know he opened the match with this.
This is the second one.
Yeah. But we talked about it not last year, last time we had the Derby, but, if you're putting together, 4, if you're putting together 5 break and runs, your percentages of winning are pretty good. But if you're putting together 3 or 4, you're still in a good spot.
Extends his lead now 5 games to 3.
Of somebody that's broken ran 5 times in this race to 11, alternate the break, I've never seen them lose. I can't recall ever. And 3 is a good total. So you win the vast majority of the matches. Yeah, that was a big rack there. Gorst played yet another perfect rack. And if we don't have the best fans in the world, too. Now, just listen to this, Jeremy. We got out in the middle of the oil fields on a rig in Oklahoma, we have Alan Hoosman, Hayes, Kansas, tuned in. Watching on his iPad. I hope his boss isn't watching. He could get terminated. But anyway, he's got a free ticket if he can make it over here if he does get fired. So glad to have that. Alan Oliver back in Wisconsin, or back in St. Louis. Rhett Butler, Clinton, Illinois. L.J. Bryseth, Madison, Wisconsin. We do have some great fans. 4 and a 6 right behind the 1. Neither of them finding the range here.
And I still haven't really seen, just that break we're looking for from either one of these guys where balls are just pouring in. So we had the 10-footer at the International. It seemed the guys were, of course, this is only match 1, but it seemed like guys were breaking the balls and making a few more balls there. So.
But also, I remember early matches there, they were not. And then all of a sudden, it's like the rack settled in or something, and they just started pouring them in. So
difficult rollout here. I wouldn't mess with the 2. The 2's a little difficult anyways with the 8 the way it is. I may move the 3 up table if I could control what I was doing moving the 3. But
now he's left a shot here, but I really believe what you're saying. He could have been more productive with that push out. He could have did something to more ensure himself.
Maybe, yeah.
I just think you want to maximize that. It's not just a shot, just bump it over 3 inches and let it go. I think sometimes you should be looking to do just something a little bit more.
Yeah, the cue ball placement is so important on the rollout, especially at this level. An inch makes a huge difference. So I like him trying to move to 3 if he could hold the cue ball where he really wanted it. Oh, that's going to be a little light. Oh, it rolled out pretty nice, Mark. I thought that ball wasn't going to get there, the object ball. Maybe he's left a little top piece of the 1 here.
And, you know, you're right. It did land good, but once it gets down to that last couple inches, even a pro player that's out of their control.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
yeah,
they can hit it at approximately that speed. That's all.
They're not that fine tuned, right? So, little edge here. Trying to really control the 1 and the cue ball. It's close. He may have left him a little piece of this. Good hit there, good touch.
Yeah, nice speed, pretty good cue ball control. We can't fault anything wrong with that shot. Hit the point, which kind of let the 1 ball trickle out where you could see it if it gets past that point. Likely behind the 8 with the 1.
Yeah, 1 behind the 5, cue ball behind the 8. Looks pretty natural. Type of shot when you go look, you do a little better usually, or at least I do. Normally, whenever I don't, I end up when my speed's a little off.
Yeah.
His speed looks perfect.
You know, and I always wonder, is that like when you go down and look real close, maybe from all the balls, the millions of balls that Jeremy Jones has hit, there's a little psychosomatic, like I can kind of feel it now from looking. You know,
absolutely.
I mean, it's not something you necessarily get any overt, great finding when you go look, but you just feel it more.
Yeah, you just get a little better. I don't know what it is. Just like looking the ball from behind the ball to the pocket. You know, I don't look at a spot on the ball I'm hitting. I just look at the path I want it to travel, and for some reason when I do that, I just become a little more accurate.
Digging down to shorten up the angle. You know, didn't shorten it up enough. Ball in hand. Gorst is rewarded with his good safety play.
And I think he goes for the 2 in the side here with the 3 being in the way there. Not easy, and I don't think you want to move a bunch of rails with top inside here. I think he keeps it pretty simple. Maybe even plays the 2 by the 4 up in the corner there. Mark, he'll probably look for the side, I would think, but he does have that corner.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the side of the corner. For me, if I could get past it and play the 2 back in the corner down here to his left where he's playing the 1, that would be ideal, but it's not laying easy to get there at the power up, although he does have quite a bit of angle here the way he set it up, so that is where he's going.
Okay, he's going to fall a little on the cushion and very off angle here. He's coming 1 rail towards the 7. So this landed about as difficult as it could, or you would expect with ball in hand on the 1. Let's say it that way.
Yeah.
This has gotten difficult. He's got to come a long ways with the cue ball here.
And some inside spin.
I think the new felt sometimes will fool you to where you don't really need the inside. You know, it'll push through a little bit, but you wouldn't doubt he's putting maybe a half a tip of left here. And not only that, the cueing looks easier with a little left.
Pure, and had the left on there.
And crept into position. I love it. All right, 2 rails with top English between the 9-7 if he wants. He's close enough to it, he may be able to kill the cue ball with a draw spin. But
that was so much of a more difficult shot than was recognized there. What he just accomplished getting back in line from there. I know he feels great about it because he knows that was where the stumbling block was likely to be.
It looks like he's killing the ball with a little tip, a little low English. And notice this is one thing I express to people all the time. Notice how he let the tip position kill the ball, you know, not the stroke. Meaning he didn't let up on the stroke. He let the tip position do the work as far as killing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of light shots, people tend to guide on the downswing a little bit, where really you still need to accelerate the cue and, like I said, let that low tip position really do its job.
Yeah, a lot of times pros, when they use side spin, I would say at least a third of the time, if not more, is not to create an angle, but to control the speed.
Oh,
the side spin. You know,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
and you see amateurs, they're trying to control the direction of the cue ball with side spin, and then they're introducing it too often, so then they get more squirt, and then they get less consistency. And they assume that the pros do that, but actually they avoid side spin when they can. And they use the side spin on the makeable shots, but then it allows them to swing softer, yet get a certain result with the cue ball.
And path of the cue ball as well. And another thing that side spin allows you to do is hit the object ball at different thicknesses, which also slows or speeds the cue ball up, whichever you want. So there's a number of reasons. That's why the game is just so endless. There's another number of reasons why things happen and why you choose to make them happen. This is funny here. He's catching a hair of the 10 if he hits it with some speed.
And the 8 ball's in the way.
Yeah, this is funny. I might load this up with some high ball.
Sometimes you try to go into the back of the 8 here, 2 cushions.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I loaded up with some high ball there and take a little chance.
It was going to work out great until, for the 10 ball moving, got back in the way. Otherwise, he was going to get away with that. Well, now he's kind of looking at that little half masse. Just got to clear the edge of the 10, but yet bend it back, and then with the right amount on the slick cloth.
I think he might be able to see it. No, he's curving. Normally on the slick felt, you hit this thick. Oh, he had to curve to kick it.
Yeah, he was hopeful of more of a backdoor safety than this. He didn't want to leave it wide open.
Yeah, must-have game here, I believe, at 5-2 with Fedor breaking in what will be game number 9.
Good luck there at how far Ruiz's tip is from the cue ball. Hit the heart of the pocket, perfect speed.
If he didn't want to draw it, he could follow his ball, it looks like, around the 9 pretty easily. He could stun around the 9 with some draw, but he could just draw back simply. All right, a little stretchy.
Good decision there to not be cute and just go half a table to the center, but rather go 2 cushions, let this stroke out a little bit. Plays far more controlled playing it that way. And from a pretty open layout here, it wasn't that easy. You had to create some shots. A good time for that to happen as Ruiz wins his 3rd game now, trails in the match 3-5. Have you got to spend much time on a 5x10, Jeremy?
Years and years ago, I did a lot. Yeah.
Where was that at?
In Dallas, mainly. CJ's. I played a lot there. There were a couple different pool rooms in Houston that had them for a little period of time. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed playing it.
Okay, our players are on break, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome, everybody. Players are back. Gorst is nearly set to break. He leads 5-3.
Yeah, it's an alternate break format. Seems like it's been a lot of Gorst in this match, even though it's only 5-3.
Playing 930 on the TPA, that is way above elite class.
That probably has a lot to do with what I just mentioned a moment ago, that even though it feels, it's only 5-3 after 8 games, only one other scenario is closer at 4-4, but it feels like it's been a lot of Gorst in this match. But now our TPAs kind of show us why at least I feel that way, even though it's only at 5-3, 930 clip for Gorst and only 818 for Ruiz.
I don't know if we could get what the ball count, total balls pocketed thus far, but I imagine it's a huge in favor of Fedor. Well, this is a tough get here because the cue ball's always trailing away from the 3.
Yeah, I wonder if the 3 goes by the 5, if that's what he's looking at, getting around.
Oh, boy, that was pure. So smoothly struck. And he didn't land perfect, but he knew that all the way along, and he can defend himself from here. There you go. Oh, yeah.
Double, as a matter of fact, 54-27 mark. Now, Fedor, one thing, he'll be a threat in the bank tournament here. So he also knew he just happened to fall just funny for the cross-side bank as well. He would stay aggressive if it lined up a little bit better.
Yeah, this is not an easy place to play safe from.
No, he could double bank it, it looks like, between the 7-8 down to the bottom rail, kind of stun the cue ball forward a little bit using the 5.
Boy, that's risky, though, because your cue ball control and your 3-ball control are tough. He is looking at that. I don't know if we can get the overhead real quick, but here we go. Jeremy's talking about this shot where this comes down, and then he's going to stun the cue ball up just to get a little closer.
I don't go crazy with the cue ball, Mark. Maybe stun it 3 or 4 inches, whatever it'll give me, basically. Oh, he played the draw. I thought that was a little tougher to control the speed usually.
Well, it was. You can see he definitely left an edge of the 3 here that allows it to go to the pocket. Not an easy shot to play position from. It's just going to be a speed control type thing. Just get the 3 down.
Yeah, I don't know if the 4 passes the 8 and 7 in the corner, but it certainly looks like the natural path on the cue ball comes between the 10-8 to the side rail and back around the back side of the 6. So I think this is doable. I think he's supposed to shoot from here.
Now he's looking at the rail where if he introduces side spin on the cue ball, but I don't think he should. I don't think that's necessary.
Well, that would be a lot of side spin as well. I might put a half a tip or quarter tip here, but not a ton. Well, that's going to get away from him unless it contacts the 4. It's going to get tied up on the 9 for no shot. Little unlucky there. Made a nice shot on the 3.
Well, now he has to play safe, and it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, very difficult, actually. Now, is he going to try and push the 4 of the side rail and carry the 9 down with it a little bit? To where he can maybe get like a kind of a mild snooker here?
Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to really get the cue ball wedged in where you'd like it.
Yeah, he may bump both balls. No, he didn't carry it with it. I thought he would carry the 9 with it a little bit, like try to get the 4 a little thinner and push the 9 a little as well. But
yeah, he's disappointed for sure because now Fedor can just go straight top spin or maybe just a hint of inside spin to get this 5 into the side pocket next.
yeah, I think he stays away from the inside just because of the difficulty on the 4, and he'll just cut the 5 from a little thinner position, I think anyways. I think inside may entertain bringing the 8 into play as well. So I like him with just straight top here. Maybe gets, to the first diamond just right at the side pocket.
Yeah, there was no side spin on that one.
Oh, he got a lot out of it, too.
He did.
Caught the 4 a little thick to the hole, so that helped the cue ball.
Right. Yeah, that meant they had the momentum of the mass going a little bit further forward with the cue ball when he hit a little heavy, and that allowed him to get this angle because it wasn't really laying naturally on a ball that's pocketed purely to go here.
I don't know if he moves this much. Looks like to me he's putting some speed on it. Got to have a good path to get around the 8.
He did. He was sweating it. It came out perfect, just as he played it. Yeah, for as well as Gorst has played, you'd expect him to have a bigger lead than he does, but Ruiz has certainly clawed some racks together to half hang in here with half the balls pocketed. That ball's pocketed figures everything. That's all you need to know about any pool match is who makes the most total balls. Pat Fleming taught me that years ago when I was doing the statistics, and you'd think the 9 ball is the important part. You know, when you're doing this, guess again, total balls pocketed is what wins these matches. Even at the end of the match, if there's only a differential of 5 or 6 balls, almost always the guy with the larger figure still wins. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Yeah, smart play there. Didn't overdo it. Just to let the cue ball go where it wants to. Just control the speed.
Yeah, keeping it simple really breeds confidence. You just know you don't have to do a whole lot with the cue ball. Keep pocketing balls. This table, you know, of course, position is important, but even more so, keep knocking the ball in the hole. That's the one that means the most, just like you were talking about a second ago with the stats.
I was talking to Fedor right before the match, and he has a big match coming up. He's playing a serious money game with Pagulayan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't hear too many guys want to latch on to Pagulayan for a big money game, but we're totally looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I would say early, you know, we'll see how this next 9 or 10 days, you know, kind of unfolds here at the Derby. But early, I think that, you know, the thought is that Federer's a decent little favorite at the moment in that match. So
yeah. No, it'll be a heck of a match. I would love to watch that.
You know, between players like that, you know, if you're considering 5-6%, that's a lot, right? So
both guys are great.
He's not a 2-to-1 favorite or anything,
No.
you know. But I mean, you know, you might look at him like 60, 50, 57, 43 right now, and that's huge between two guys like this. So,
yep. Watching him prepare, I'm totally confident that he has a great chance to win that set. And there's not been too many guys I feel that way about against Pagulayan, because if you said, hey, Mark, name the top 5 players in the last 15 years, if you don't have Pagulayan's name in there, you're wrong. You know, so simple as that. I don't know where he's at, but he's certainly at the top.
yeah, it's just you know, depends on the table a little bit with those two guys. I think the tighter the table, a little more chance, a little better chance for Alex, I think, just because you'll see a little more play in the game. But, you know, I talk about what today's game's about with these players, and it's really about being efficient with the open table. Of course, knowledge is key, but maybe Federer exhibits that as well as anybody. And it's just going to be a tough thing for any player to overcome in a long race. And now Alex is certainly one that can do that. That's for sure. And, you know, when they play that match, it may look like Alex was the favorite. And so we'll just see. That's just how great both players are. But I think Federer's like I said, the epitome of the guy you want to place a friendly wager on every time he comes to the plate.
No, you're going to get a maximum effort.
Yeah.
It's a guy that's precision bound, and perfection is his goal on every stroke. So now this is by far the best break of the match so far by Francisco.
Yeah, he's got a little work, but very doable.
But squared him up much better. I mean, the ball action, everything
was
much more like I'm used to seeing.
Well, if you notice, it looked like the swing wasn't near as hard, but the reward and the reaction of the rack was much better. So that's usually a pretty good sign that the timing's good. Now he's going to have to work from the 6 to the 7 to the 8 and then back to the 9. The end of the rack here is really the hard part. Taking a lot of time here, and I don't know if it's really about the 3 so much as it is for me. It'd be more about the 6. Anything heavy, I think, is fine on the 3. I think you can hold your ball to draw back up for the 6, from the 6 to the 7, excuse me. I just wouldn't want to get too thin to where I had to move into position on the 6 ball, because that's a critical ball to get position on.
What you don't want to worry about is let the 7 ball interfere with your concentration on getting the 2 and the 3 right now. The 7 it's there. We're going to have to deal with it. Because if you get all weirded out right now about your angle on the 6, now it's much harder to get the 2 and the 3 properly. So you got to be
I didn't ever agree with that. I didn't think that was ever necessary. I thought you could cut the 7 from a number of places, even if you couldn't get too great on it.
I thought he was going around it, and they got away from him, because maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, he kind of measured it out there at the last second. So, and not saying it wasn't a bit unfortunate to get totally snookered, but even if you get a bit thin on the 3, this thing still becomes very difficult on this table. Ooh, man, this has got a lot of gonna need a little spin here.
I'll tell you, say that he hits this and Fedor runs out, this is going to be the absolute losing point of the match here.
Well, he's made it. It looks like.
What a great shot. Good recovery. Boy, now he really needs to cash this in. Caught a good break there.
Yeah, really, if you're calm with the stroke, this shot right here, the pocket plays very nice and very big right now at the moment. He hit it perfect.
Now, I'm a little surprised he didn't go with topspin and get to the other side of the table there. But he felt more comfortable pocketing the ball with just a little bit below center, which is most everybody's default. But now he's got a much longer position play and a much longer shot.
Yeah, stay off the rail with the cue ball could get funny on the 8. Oh, he real quick transition there, Mark. Boom, boom. Like, just imagine that a stroke, it went boom, boom, like real quick back and forth. So
that's where the 10-foot table takes a toll, because he's used to playing behind the side pocket on a 9-foot table, and you can kind of just overpower it. But here you got to be something special to overpower a 10-foot table and just take on extra length.
Yeah, and he was putting a little left spin there, so you get a little quick with the stroke, you put a little more pressure on the left side of the ball, and you deflect into thick is what happens. You just get a little more deflection, especially on the new felt. So,
and we know that he didn't find the shot very comfortable because his stroke just broke down. He didn't even come close to the pocket.
Hey, may have to let it go and try and draw across the 10 here. I think that's why he got up off the ball. Oh, he didn't even go for it. How you like that, Mark? When's the last time you saw that in a spot like that situation from Fedor?
Oh, Fedor's going to be very disappointed with that effort, because now Ruiz has a chance to land the long one here and get right back.
May have to go into the 8 a bit.
Well, he certainly doesn't mind. Yeah, I don't think he can hold it comfortably. Yeah. If you try to roll that, and you don't want to roll it at the slowest possible speed, because you sell out every time when you miss. Going into it, you can still defend yourself. You're not going to get hooked, or it's rare that you're hooked.
I mean, you could scratch, I guess. You could make the 8. Maybe that would maybe be so great, but main thing, he's got to bury the 7.
Yep. Now he can still protect himself if he doesn't like this thin cut.
Yeah, I doubt he doesn't take this on of some sort, but maybe.
No,
looks like he can level out and go into the 9, right?
Well, I think he can just drag to the end rail and just come back up to the center of the table here.
Okay. It's not too thin for that.
Might be going into it like you suggested, yeah. Oh, he overcut it, but he was definitely not playing for this position.
Used all the pocket there on the
8. And a little bit more.
Well, I mean, you'd be a fool not to in this sense, when you know the table's playing soft here early, right? The key to whenever the table's playing soft is nothing wrong with using a little pocket, but make sure you're still committing to the stroke. That's not really the only way you can get out of line with it is sometimes on the big pocket you kind of just take it for granted a little bit. Crucial 10 ball here for the Spaniard.
Nice. Yeah, good timing.
Yep, 6-4 now.
That rack had a little more interesting dynamics to it. Ruiz kicked in the ball after hooking himself. Then he missed a ball that was very tough right after it. Gorst failed to connect. I like the idea of playing safe there, but maybe that safety wasn't the right one for that shot, just in case you do come up. Now you give your opponent a chance to scramble through.
Yeah, it's, you know, he obviously couldn't hold the ball. Too much cut on the six, was it the 6 to get, no, the 7 to get to the 8. But I thought he might still elevate and take it on in the corner and draw across, but maybe it was just a little too funny for that because, I mean, Federer's a very efficient player, of course, but like all the greats, he wants to stay aggressive. So him passing there tells me it was pretty tough.
Well, this is the first time I haven't seen the 2 and 3 on the corners. So
yeah, no, actually, Ruiz changed it a moment ago as well. Yeah. All right, 5 in the side, 6 tracking with the cue ball.
Oh, boy.
He's going to get a nice opening on the 1, and he can get there on the 2. He's going to have to work the cue ball a little bit. But
so what is this, draw past the side pocket, 1 rail down?
Can he follow past the 4 and bleed the cue ball between the 6-9? If I had a hair more angle, I'd definitely draw it, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of going to have to be that stun follow, which now brings if you slightly miss at the pocket, the 4 is in play, but it also gives you the path that Jeremy's talking about here now that I look at it closer.
You know, it's a speed control, of course, but the thing is with draw, speed has to be there as well.
It does.
So you got to go a long ways to get on this 2 ball, regardless if it's a high ball or draw. So it looks like draw's the way he's going. So he needs to let it out a little bit here. Yeah, nice
Boy,
shot.
what a stroke. That's good speed.
But that's what happens with the draw when you have to get into the ball a little bit. Easy to overrun, but that was the safe side of things, right?
Yeah, can't fault him on that effort. That was tremendous. Because the other way, if you clip the 4 going in, now you can get tangled up out here in the middle where you end up having to kick, and that's what this was designed to avoid that.
Well, and also I don't think clipping the 4 was too much of a worry, but still the speed going by the 9, he had to put a lot of left spin. And the speed getting by the 9 and holding past the 6 wasn't easy. And I'll tell you, I think this got a little touchy here, Mark.
Mm-hmm. No, we're going to need to see his super soft speed.
Either that or good speed between the 8 and 9, like cue ball near the 9 here. Yeah, like that.
Good call.
Yeah.
Oh, but now that got funny.
Well, he's just going to have to shoot the 4 from a little distance here.
Okay. This is like just roll this 3 in, you mean?
Well, if he gets it to grab decently, he can go with the inside ball and get at least to, you know, the opposite head string over here on the right side of the table or the bottom of your screen a little bit.
Boy, if you go any kind of spin here, you got Mass 8 working because you got to clear the 9. And this is all ball fouls.
Yeah, but I think the left English actually helps him here because that's the side of the ball he can get at, right?
Yeah, good point.
So just try and get to the head string-ish, you know, like right over here and take the shot on the 4. That's just about all you can do.
Boy, that was a tremendous result. Yeah, you made a great call, too. That is exactly what played, and that played the easiest.
Yeah, I mean, he could have stunned it, but not being able to get to the center of the cue ball or the right side of the cue ball made the stun kind of difficult. Now, this is the shot. Me, myself, I come 1 rail between the 9-7. Now, Federer, he'll cue down sometimes and stun this ball because his speed's so good coming 2 rails. But from distance, for me, I do a little better with the 1 rail angle here. He's going to go 2, I think. Barely off the center of the cue ball, if any.
Boy, he has a beautiful stroke.
Yeah, but see the speed to me, and there was some danger going that way. There was the 9 there, there were the 8 there. There were some things that could have caused some problems, but he likes that shot so much.
Yeah. And boy, what a committed, good stroke that was. So fluid, so smooth getting through the ball.
And the key to that shot really is not to use too much side spin. That way you can be aggressive and it doesn't get away from you. You know, just maybe an eighth of a tip, a quarter tip off the center, and you can still, you know, be pretty, like I said, aggressive with the stroke. All right, good diamond bounce off the side rail here, I think. A little more, nothing wrong with that. And the thing is, you really have to have the entire package to win these days, because it's about being efficient with the open table, which Federer's so great at. But then you do have times to where knowledge and certain little things come up to where, you know, you need to have some interesting shots and different plays you can make in today's game. You know, whether it be the conditions get a little tougher, the format's a little different to where it's not as much of an open table break and run out kind of game. But Federer really kind of has it all.
Now this would be the third break and run out of the match. And that's going to be the difference in the entire match. Otherwise, it would be tied.
And he's keeping the heat on with that 3 games with Ruiz to break in the next. So
yeah, just as we crawl past the midpoint of the match. So 7-4 is now our score.
not sure how many they got in the bank event, but I'm sure it's 400 plus.
There's no other place in the world you can get 400 people to play bank pool other than the Derby City. And it's a great game. I'm not diminishing that at all. I'm just saying there's just not the appetite for it anywhere else. And that's part of what makes it such a great, pool event. I don't really call it so much of a tournament as it is a festival. People that just absolutely love the sport.
Our Ruiz, who broke the ball, is much better in his last attempt. Everything looked a little more fluid. Even there, he didn't put a maximum effort, but everything was real solid. Now, he didn't make one, but...
Much better break effort, though, than what we saw early in the match.
Yeah, now Federer's going to have to play a nice touchy speed coming one rail, maybe catching the second rail, falling behind the two for the same pocket as the one. I think anyways, Mark. Looks like it's doable.
And it plays comfortably.
Yeah.
It's not just doable, but it's kind of the way the ball wants to go. It's just a matter of rationing out the right speed.
Yeah, and the three's near, so, barring getting super thin on the two or something like that, should be a pretty playable position from the two to the three. So all about the shot on the one. Nice and heavy. Should catch the second rail, actually.
Well, he almost took too much. He might have to play this in the side.
Yeah, and good thing the side is open. This actually makes things pretty nice to fall on the good side of the three to get on the four. Now the 4 to the 5, that's really key. You'll notice the 5 doesn't pass the 6, and the 10's there near the 4, so he can't just get anywhere on the 4 to get to the 5.
Two balls close to the cue ball, so this wants to rub heavy. So you got to cut it just a hair thinner when they're close together like this. And Federer recognizes that, takes a little extra time with it. It's certainly doable, very gettable, but it's also missable. And then he went over and looked at two cushion position, just playing straight topspin rather than try to stun to the end rail and back up. That allows him to get a few more fragments of accuracy because he can level out his cue rather than go up a few degrees of elevation.
And it's not, Federer, as machine-like sometimes as he is, does look. He is very, very human. Not saying he's thinking this, but man, what a huge game, and maybe the game to win the match with right here at 7-4. He goes up 8-4 and breaking, right? Going to be a hard guy to catch.
Right.
Now, this is the shot he does really well, getting the most out of this draw without ever really threatening coming by and hitting the 4 or the 10 with the cue ball, plus capturing the speed.
Are you saying one cushion as a or
he's
no
going to go
cushions?
2.
Yeah,
he's going to go to the short rail, then side rail. But he's just real good at this thin angle, making sure nothing
Right.
bad happens, you know. It's
Yeah.
easy to let up. It's easy to overhit it. A lot of things could go wrong, believe it or not. And he just see how he just usually pulls it really nice. Just speed's always good.
Stayed down. Yeah, got through it. And it's one of those, if you hit the pocket crude, you can still pocket the ball, but you can totally monkey up your speed quite a little bit here. So it's now he's got just a hint of an angle.
He's perfect to draw right into position. No reason, just don't let up. Again, cueing a little high and then comes down with the tip.
Smooth. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. I tell my wife, I said, it's just all about being smooth, aggressive with the swing. Those are the 2 words you want to have the combination of, even though they don't sound like they really go together that much, but they do.
Is your wife a good pool player?
She plays a little bit. Yeah, she you know, she gets in her spells where she wants to play, and then she'll take a year off, seems like. But she's an athlete, though. She throws the football great, baseball player. She was a really good softball player, skater, speed skater.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, athletic lady. And now looks like he's going to get that 4-game lead, and this win on Ruiz's break, and will be breaking in what will be game number 12, or excuse me, game number 13.
He's crafted a nice run so far, but he takes a moment here because he's just a hint flat. Wants to make sure he gets through this shot good. Didn't hit the pocket pure that time. That was the first time I've seen that.
And Federer, he's funny. He'll always crack on himself a little bit. I don't know if you noticed right there the face he gave, how that 8 hit the pocket.
Right.
So he's always, even though he's competing, he's enjoying himself, which is another tough combination to beat. A little quick with the stroke, so a little let up on the downswing, and the tip came up just a hair there. So, and that's what good players, we shake our head, and players are like, man, you can't be that upset about the shape. It's not the shape we're upset about, it's the delivery of the stroke. You know, you don't want to feel that off delivery knowing you got to pocket more balls.
Oh, very nice.
And now 8-4, and it's TPA climbing. 932.
932. I was just putting on my glasses. 932. Boy, that is remarkable performance. $900 on this table on a 5x10 is fantastic. And $900 on a 9-foot table is fantastic. This is really something special.
Score is 8 Gorst, 4 Ruiz.
You really have to be mentally tough because this table puts a lot of pressure on you. And you're really not getting away with much.
To me, though, when I felt comfortable playing on the 10-foot, when I put time in, made me a lot better. Because there's not really you're never cinching balls. I mean, just once you get confident a little bit, you just always are putting a pure stroke on everything. You know, I'm not saying you're hitting everything 100 miles an hour or anything like that, but you're very much committing to the stroke and not taking anything for granted. Looks like he maybe shaves the 1 here. Does he try and move the 1? I might shave the 1 if I felt like I could hold behind the 8 and bring the cue ball behind the 3-7, maybe. don't know what he's going to look at here. It looks like he's trying to move the 1 to me, which I thought was much more difficult. Now he looks like he's moving the cue ball behind the 7.
Behind the 8.
Oh, behind the 8, yeah. Okay, good, simple, containing shot.
Exactly. It was very easy.
No,
He
that's
didn't have to
good.
take
No,
a great
that's
deal of
good.
risk, and he was going to a real good chance he wasn't going to give up the game with that shot. So it was that keep it simple thing that you were mentioning earlier, rather than
Yeah, especially when your opponent, you have them 4 games down, right? Make them earn it.
make him earn every opportunity at the table, which puts tons of heat. Look at this. He's got to look at trying to spin into that. And there's at best it's 50-50 that you get a backdoor safety from here.
Might make the 1 off the 5 in the side. That's got a good chance with a high ball.
I don't think he's going to hit it that hard.
Really? Oh, I thought he would let these shake around a little bit. I thought he'd let these move a little bit. I don't know, man. The kick light here, the 1 going into the 5. If you kick light, you might not get a rail, and I'm not too in love with what I see as far as a safety. I mean, playing the 9-ball rules where luck counts a little bit, I think I stir him up here, Mark. I don't know. It just felt like the time to maybe try and, shake the bush a little bit.
Yep. Well, Gorst is rewarded now with this good safety play. Got a nice open layout here.
And I'm all about the kick safety or kicking to manage, meaning, maybe you don't get the snooker, but you keep your opponent from running out maybe. A little fortunate here if he got the angle, because he certainly didn't want to draw back underneath this 3. So he just overhit that a little bit.
Just going to have to settle for a longer cut into the corner pocket with topspin.
Yeah, and I think he just squeezes the cue ball out as much as he can here, whether it's a high ball going to the top rail with the cue ball or if it's just drawing it out. I think it's a high ball.
So he's going to rattle the corner here to create an angle.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't even have to do that. He was able to just go forward. Nice hit. Now he's got the stop shot position. Maybe it's just trickling away from the 5 a hint. Not too bad.
And the 10's a big ball, though, so with the 9 being there. So can he get heavy enough on the 5 to go forward easily off this 4 ball?
Well, it looks like he can even go forward off the 4 ball. If he
to get
really
heavy
had
on
to.
the 5?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to tell exactly, but.
Because you don't want to play from the center of the table on the 7 if you can help it. It's not terrible, but you would rather be a little below the 10 just to make the 7 easy. So trying to get nice and heavy here on the 5, unless he can come across too, right? Like, say he got an angle on the 5, he can come across and play the 7 in the same pocket as the 5, right?
Right.
I mean, that was always an option as well that was very easy. So stay away from getting elevated over the 9. Should be good.
Your option was such that he would have had to use some inside spin. I don't think he wanted to opt for that.
No, I was just saying if he had fallen a little funnier on the 4 to where he wanted to draw back maybe and take a little angle. Didn't want to fool with this 9 ball over here.
He's going to have to take a little risk if he just trickles this forward. The 9 ball could be in play, depending upon how the 5 enters the pocket. Tried to stun forward.
He's perfect.
That was done with really good control. Great execution throughout the match here from the opening rack on, from the opening lag even.
All right, now trying to build that lead, something we talked about earlier. Usually all these guys, but there's certain ones that are going to just normally get stronger as the match goes regardless. That's just how it is, and Feder's one of them.
Anytime you can hear the pocket ring from all the way up here, that's pure. It's not scuffing anything on the way in. You can just hear the how tong sound as the ball entered the pocket. The cue ball drifts in with perfect speed.
And little 2 cushions. And again, notice how he creeps into position. That's how you get the most out of today's equipment. Really just taking advantage of the roll of the ball. And that doesn't mean roll your cue ball, but that means take advantage of the cue ball rolling into position more.
Ooh, he hit it a little crude, but he got the cue ball away from the rail.
Like to see his face on that one. Federer, a little bit of an introvert, but very, very witty guy, that's for sure.
Now, big right
Back
four. Yeah, that was a pretty nice run out there. That
4, you lead. Ruiz.
the light kick safety didn't work out for Ruiz. And Gorst made him pay.
Well, like, you brought up that nice, soft safety from Federer, keeping it simple there on the 1. Take your chances with a 4-game lead, and now a 5-game lead. Great break off there, really hit well. Cue ball got kissed a little bit. I don't know if he can come across the top side of the 2 and get down here by the 6, so he may have to go in and just use the 3 ball here, Mark. That's tough. But, I mean, what else you got?
You hate to do that just because it's always going to be an easy kick, even if you hit it good. But he doesn't have much choice.
He might be able to come across the top of the 2 and bring the cue ball down by the 7. Maybe. That's the preferred shot here.
You're saying down by the 6.
Past the 6.
7.
Yeah, past
okay,
6.
Right.
Yeah, down by the 6.
Right. Doesn't look like he's winding up for that, though. He's going soft speed. So that was more conservative. But, yeah, at best it's going to be a routine kick.
He may have left the bank.
Oh, that would be doom.
Especially this guy can bank him. Starting to get at that earlier, that Federer, I think, is one of the guys that's not the favorite in the banks, but he'll be down in there most likely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love his enthusiasm and energy that he brings to this. He's here to work hard for 9 straight days. Oh, nice. Might not be perfect, but it was a nice effort there. Good speed on both balls.
Yeah, and he really wanted to try and play the 2 ball as well, just because he knew he was coming back behind 1 ball is all, and really had to use, I call that kind of shot, just using your talent, using a little skills there with your touch. Tough here. Do you just roll this, Mark? Looks like if he tries to make them separate, he could easily sell out something.
Yeah. This is where that touchy circumstance is. That it's just one of those, boy, it takes a lot of years to become good here. Defending yourself from this long range thin. Oh, good job.
Beautiful.
Yeah, probably had to introduce some side spin, inside spin to check up the cue ball like that, so we didn't go into the 10. Yeah, absolutely got the most out of that. Great hit.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has the entire 2 ball, maybe.
It's hard to look. I don't know if he has any 2 ball.
No, he has a piece of it for sure.
Okay.
Decent piece, at least half of it. I think he's debating, do I edge this ball? I think that's what he's got to try, but he almost has enough to try and bank it back down by the 3, almost.
It's a nice hit.
Really nice.
Look how good he got the cue ball speed down there.
So Ruiz will try and use the 8-10, the 6-7, laying the 2 behind those balls and bring the cue ball behind the 8-10. Important to get the snooker here with all these balls. If you let them see a piece of it, you're probably going to take the worst of it.
Good job there.
May have left something between the 8-10 here, Mark. It's close.
Yeah, it might be like that rail first, inside spin, kick, safe, thin. Now he's looking up and down the table now.
Well, this is always what you want to do, kick towards congestion. Kick the ball towards other balls a lot of times when you don't have anything like for sure. Now look at that, the 2 locks up on the 7, so.
Yeah, poor Ruiz. He's struggled anyway, and then the balls conspire against you here at the latter stages of the match. He's close by, so he's going to be accurate, but you're going to have to move both balls, it looks like. You have to move that 2 ball off the 7 and the cue ball. It's not easy. Control that.
I'm not sure where he's going with this, to be honest with you.
It's like Gorst is going to try to follow ahead and get the cue ball down beneath the 6. Nice angle there. And now he's got Ruiz in a position where he has to kick away from congestion.
He knows it doesn't lay great to, bring the cue ball down here with the 2 and let maybe the 2 go back up table, the cue ball come near to the 3 or something for some type of safety. I might draw this, I don't know, just to try and bring the cue ball back towards them other balls, Mark. Yeah, see how he's elevating it? Well, no, he's spinning now just, so they're both coming down here. Oh, he swished it though. Wow, what a shot.
Solid impact on there. It had a nice speed. Had it not connected with the pocket, he might have got it to leave the area.
Just needs could go forward if he wanted. A little gap there, but probably draws back between the 8-10 if the angle's okay. Oh, he's holding there. Oh, that was really close to too much.
Good chat. Look in the angle, back into the side pocket on the 8.
Pretty good to me.
Yeah, looks like he has a hint of an angle.
Yeah, a little bit.
Great shot.
He's in a good spot now. Just pull the cue ball out a little bit.
Got that nice inside placement as they use in the highlight games. And 9-5 is now our score. Ruiz makes a nice run out.
Yeah, he needs a couple on Fedor's break. Now to break here, game number 15. Ruiz raising that TPA. It had dropped a little below 800 there for a little bit. Now back at 828. Gorst with an impressive 939. It's day one, 2022 Derby City Classic. This is the Bigfoot Challenge. 16 players in this single elimination format. We'll have 4 matches today to open round 1. We'll conclude round 1 with 4 more matches tomorrow.
Pretty nice prize money here too. The players all chip in $1,000 a piece to play, single elimination, and then there's 16,000 added. First place is $16,000, but also a pretty prestigious title here. So we can look at some of our TPA stats. 92 balls pocketed for Gorst.
Score is 9 Gorst, 5
48. Ruiz, 828, 939. Third and fourth place is $4,000. Second place is $8,000. So good money in this event. Gorst just off the center of the table to the right.
And
7
this is
ball.
7, 8. Both
8 did
tracking.
fine,
The
yeah.
1 track nice as well.
Oh, boy, he's going to have another opportunity to break and run out here.
Yeah, I like his chances. I'll tell you, the 5's a little difficult, but the 4's down here. So he's going to have to work, that's for sure. He's got a nice shot on this first one, though, on the 1. I'll tell you, the 3 to the 4 to the 5, that's it.
Yeah, if you said bet on him or bet against him from here, you'd have to bet on him, even though there's a lot to
Yeah.
do.
I mean, the good thing about the 3's in a good position to get, somewhat on the 4 to where you can draw to the backside of the 5, I think. Little bump on the 6 that never hurt. That's what I was wondering, if he would somewhat entertain trying to move the 5 here. Now the 5 goes in the side, goes in both sides. He's got both upper corners.
Tell you another thing I've seen happen before, I'm not saying here, but Efren sometimes moves the 9 ball on this shot.
Yeah, yeah, I've
Which is-
seen that before.
I think he tried that. No, he went after the 5.
Well, he just felt like the 3 was so open, right, with the 4 very, very near, that he's going to take his chances there going into the 5. I think it's a good, smart call.
I would not dispute it. Here he is at the table. Now this is kind of that, it goes, no problem.
Draw to the side rail, I think,
Yep.
in
But
between the
there's-
5-7.
it's kind of that hint of recovery shot. This is the shot that wins the rack.
I don't like a high ball as much here, I don't think. I think I like hitting downward on this. Nice smooth draw stroke. Should be easily to come 1 rail between the 5-7. Oh, he came all the way across. I didn't understand that play, Mark. I know hindsight, but he really put a lot into that. I didn't see to the point to get across the 5, but maybe he was just making sure he got enough on it to hit the spot between the 7-5. It just got a little bit away from him. And now what do? I mean, pretty makeable kick shot if you don't worry about getting too close to the 5, like a lighter speed.
Yeah.
So I like his chances to make it if he goes that route. If he tries to get a little more on it to get a little better position on the 5, probably misses the kick. Very surprising to get snookered in that situation right there, though.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he's made it.
Oh, what a nice shot that was.
Yeah. And the good thing he did know is, hey, if I can bury this 5 ball, the 6 is hanging. So that maybe made the shot on the 4 a little more pleasing just to roll it in, you know.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't really have the choice to even try and get position. That was all out to make the object ball. Adding any more difficulty was suicidal. Good pause. Glides through the cue ball nicely. Wow. Wow. He's made some things happen this rack.
Yeah, and that's just what I talk about with him all the time, getting back to those reps. That he recognized that was a tough shot, just like everybody in the room did, but he just relies on what he's done in the practice room so many countless hours to you know, you're never going to look at that shot and say it's an easy shot. You're not going to look at it like everybody, oh, they're all supposed to look the same. That's not realistic. Realistic is you put in enough reps, they start to look a little more the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're always going to look at that 5 and say that's one tough shot. But this guy, like I said, the hours he's put in the practice room really pays off.
Yeah, you see some guys come here and they act like they're really into pool and everything and play a ton for 9 days, but then leading up to it and before, you know, they don't put the hours in like this guy does, you know. It's always like that one little thing you see, and it'll be tournaments are won in the practice time, not at the event. That just shows you what you've been doing.
Well, I'll tell you, I think it's going to be like this for a while. Pandemic had a little something to do with it, but the sport was just evolving. You know, these guys got to be ready. There's going to be tournament after tournament if they want to keep playing. And now on the hill at 10-5.
And by virtue of the 4th break and run out of the match too, it was a nice run out. There was some work to do, but then we'd hate to bet against him not doing it.
Yeah, now he's gotten himself in a spot where he breaks the balls 3 more times at least, or not at least, but 3 more times on his break to win the match. So can't ask for a whole lot more than that.
First year of the Bigfoot here at the Derby was 2013. Dennis Orcolo won it. Then the next 2 years, 14 and 15, Shane Van Boning won it. And the next 2 years, it looked like it was all Jason Shaw. He made the 10-foot table look like a Valley 7-footer. I mean, one year he absolutely overpowered the table. I've never seen that before or since. He won that the next 2 years, 16, 17. Then Roberto Gomez won. And one of my personal favorites, Chang Jun Lin, just because he possesses impeccable stroke mechanics. And then the last time we had this in 2020, it was Jason Shaw. Shaw's won it 3 times, Van Boning twice. This is our 9th year. And it is my favorite event that I oftentimes mention. It's not really a break fest. You're going to have to do some playing to get through this thing.
Well, not backing off the rack at all and getting a much better hit on the rack. Now, I know it may be a little too late. You know, he's never going to give up, of course, but Federer's just going to be a tough guy to beat from this type of scenario here at 10-5. I think he's got a long playable one here. Even if he has to elevate a hair and shoot a bit of a jump shot with his full cue, I think he'll take it on. Yeah, like right here, you see him elevating a little bit. So
clearly
just a
jumping.
Sliver, yeah, just a sliver of a jump. I don't think he's curving it. He's got to be jumping it just a little bit. Little favor to make it 6 or 7 out of 10. Ooh.
Ruiz comes to the table with a cross-corner bank.
Yeah.
It's not the shot that you really want to come to the table with, but it's better than coming to the table hooked or got to
Yeah,
play safe. So
and he's got to shoot it a little awkwardly, drawing the ball up the rail a little bit. I don't know if he can roll it and hold for behind the 6 so easily. Nice shot. Super nice. This is one thing I wish I was a little better at through my careers. You know, you just kind of know you're going to probably catch the 7, but I wish I could calculate a little better through the years on how much of it I'm going to catch. Oh, he didn't catch any, which is nice. But those, when you're just barely catching a little piece of it, Mark, very hard for me to calculate, it seems like.
how that ball enters the pocket dictates how much, and then that changes your speed of your cue ball so much.
All right, he's got to move it a little path around the balls.
You know, that part of what you're saying about bumping those balls and stuff, that's kind of a core part of balkline billiards, or carom billiards for that matter, is gathering the balls and how thick or thin you land on the object ball, and then where the cue ball goes afterwards, because you try to always keep them gathered. And it's kind of a skill that died with probably someone that would be my great-grandfather's age. It's still played a little bit in Europe, but you don't see any of it in America. And so consequently, we're ball makers and good breakers, but we're not so nimble on the billiard side of the sport.
Well, this happens. I think Ruiz looks as comfortable now, even though he trails 10-5, as he has the entire match. Looks like the stroke's getting some nice flow to it. A little thin here, so he's got to work the ball. I was going to say he may play on the backside of this 9. The side pocket's a little threatening here with the cue ball. You try to get to the good side of the 9. So perfect here. Just shoot it in the corner and go to the side rail. It's pretty easy to me.
Kind of twisted his head as like he was unhappy with it, but didn't seem too bad.
No, I mean, you're not going to get dead straight on the 10, but you're going to get pretty good on it. He spun his ball quite a bit with inside there. Still in the position he's got to fade a few of Federer's breaks to have any chance to come back in this match. Still great out there. Now 10-6.
Well, that was a break and run out there for Ruiz too, right?
I believe so. No, Federer missed the jump on the 1. The light jump
That's
on
right.
the 1 ball.
That's right. So it was a nice out then.
Oh, yeah.
Much needed. Like you said, his stroke has gotten a little more fluid as the match has worn on, like his confidence is coming up.
Gorst is 10 on the hill. Ruiz is 6.
We'll unfortunately lose 4 of our 16 today. But they'll be definitely playing many matches throughout the next 9 days.
You could hear our referee, Dwayne Payne, down there, who does a great job. Announce that Gorst is breaking, leading 10-6. It's the 4 and the 6 right behind the 1. That's the one they try to play in the side.
Yeah,
8 ball.
He's got
4-ball.
And his 7's going to help him? No, but he's going to probably get, I don't know if he takes this on or not. It kind of fell a little funny. I thought it was going to come a little more for a cross-side bank.
Here in the overhead, it looks like he's going to cut this.
I know, but looking at the table.
I know, yeah.
I mean, I like cutting the balls myself, but.
Yeah, you have to play it awful soft, and then you're hitting that object ball so thin, but you hate to go 3 cushions, also, so. I think he's
Cross
just
corner goes. I know you're not going to shoot that very often, but it's like to me, is he cutting the 1 and coming back, taking distance on the 2? Is he looking to just play the 1 safe and the cue ball behind the 10 a couple rails? So he's shooting at it to me.
Boy, what a nice hit.
Well,
what a nice hit.
And that's just committing to what's needed. And wow. Probably, he's still got to work here. He's got to get good on the 6 a little bit to get to the 7. But that shot right there probably won, or at least finished this match maybe. Didn't win the match. There were a lot of other great shots that Federer has played. But that one kind of tells you what's been going on in this match. That's for sure, that 1 ball there.
Doesn't it?
Good speed there. He can move the cue ball off the 3 to the 5. He can play short side. He can play the 5 in the same pocket. So whatever simply gets you on the 6 in the corner or the 6 in the side. The 6 does go by the 9, so the side is not necessary. It's kind of preference a little bit. I actually kind of like the corner myself.
Yeah.
On the 6.
Yeah, I think the 6, because it makes it easier to deal with getting position from there if you go in the corner.
Yeah, and really, I mean, you can go 3 rails off the 6 pretty easily for the 7, but the thing is, does the 8 pass the 9? You still have to do some work there, so I still kind of like the 6 in the corner myself. I think the 8 may slide in by the 9 in that same corner, but.
I had assumed the 6 or the 8 did go by there pretty freely, but I can see here it's not that easy on the overhead. You got to get on there close.
Yeah, it's a little closer than you think. He's been so accurate, and he's gotten more accurate as the match has gone, it seems. So he can catch 2 rails here if he wants. He could come to the side. We'll see how he cues the ball. That'll tell us a lot. Looks like he's going for the corner.
Yes, that position play was yet another time where he did not try to overdo anything, but just take what the table was willing to give him.
That's the shot I was talking about earlier. He missed, but that's one of the ones I think he may be the best in the world at. That just center, hitting before the side, stunning 1 row over with so much control. Fillers are, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are great at it, but it's just a shot he looks like is very comfortable, and it's a shot that comes up a lot in big moments, it seems like. Even as simple as it looks, it's such an important shot. And here's that little bit of a tight 8 ball by the 9. Gets this one down, though. FEDOR GORST will advance to our final 8. This is our last little hurdle.
Yeah, he made it freely.
Yeah, and I look for him to actually, he played a great match here. He's at 948, but I know this sounds crazy, Mark, but I look for him to actually improve off of this match. Well, his break got a little better at the end. I figure that to continue and be better from the beginning of matches, but really shore up those just few mistakes he did make. Which sounds crazy, right? And the thing is, I don't think the heat of his opponent, now that does matter, but I don't think it matters that much with this guy. he really gets into playing the game by himself.
Exactly. He set the pace from the opening leg on. You know, it had nothing to do with Ruiz. It's the performance. This is match ball here, and this would be the 5th break and run out of the set.
And probably gets him to 950.
It does. Wow. Incredible performance there.
Make some noise
Really, you
for
know, when you look
Fedor
back
Gorst,
at
who's
his
moving
4th
on
break and run out, do you remember when he got tangled up on the 5 unnecessarily and then had to kick back down to get on the 4? And still got out with that nice series. And then
And the
all
5
the
from out in
other-
the middle of the table,
Right.
yeah, from the end round. Yeah.
Right, really, that was kind of that tipping point where maybe Ruiz could have clawed back into this thing, but he got shut down there. So 5 break and run-outs in a race to 11, 10-foot table, that's quality. So anyway, we want to thank everyone for sitting in with us today, and we hope that you can join us again. So long for just a while.